Okay, tani ko na waksaki. Mi no hatu apamox. Mi stakix binapox. Hello, my name is Tobacco Pod Woman, also known as Mary Ellen Little Mustache. I've been studying the traditional games since 2008, and before that I lived in the hand game world. In the hand game world, I learned songs, I learned to play, I learned to laugh, and that was really an awesome experience. So when this man, Peter Fiddler, came to visit us, he was with the Hudson's Bay Company, and he found this playing field. This playing field was 45 meters long, and it was surrounded by a big camp on the other side of the mountains, north of what is now called Pincher Creek in the Livingstone mountain range. The place that I'm talking about is now known in English as the Livingstone Gap. So when our people gathered, the people from this side of the mountains, so we had relationships with all of our neighbors, all the other tribes. Even though we spoke different languages, we could communicate. And so we would have these big gatherings. If you look at the highway system in North America today, you'll see our people's trails that are so well used now in this present day. So as a traditional games teacher, I could imagine in my mind the games that were played in that playground that we call Napi's playground. Napi was a character in our history. He helped the Creator in different ways, and sometimes he'd get into trouble. Our elders used to say, "Ikak si tapi Napi." He's a crazy guy, and we have many stories about him. So when they named the Old Man River, that's another way of saying Napi. Napi, old man, it's the same word. And so this place in the Gap that's now called the Gap was called Napi's Playground. The gathering, it not only included all manners of trade. We traded our plants, we traded our rocks, we traded our stories, and we also traded with the people that came to visit us. I really love the relationships that we formed. Since thousands of years ago, we have had huge buffalo herds. Sometimes it was like a blanket going across the field, going across the prairie. And at the time in 1792, there was no more buffalo left on this side of the mountains. So the Tunaha people and other people from this side would make a trek over the mountains to trade with us. So when Peter Fiddler came in December, it was cold. You could imagine the hardships that people went through.
The meeting of Peter Fiddler came about because he was trained as a surveyor or a map maker and had been at Buckingham House, one of the Hudson's Bay Company posts on the North Saskatchewan River. And a band of Piikani had come in that fall in 1792 that would be traveling further south than they had in a few years because of the effects of smallpox epidemics. But he was assigned to overwinter with them, join them in their travels, and map out their territory, learn the peoples, and the land. And so, traveling with the Piikani, they arrived at a place called Spitchea, or what we now call High River, a major camping place. And Piikani scouts came into camp and reported that they had seen Tunaha camped at the headwaters of the Old Man River. And so a group of Piikani, at Fiddler's urging, assembled and traveled down here to the Old Man River to meet the Tunaha. Fiddler was very, very interested in this meeting. He had heard of the Tunaha, but to his knowledge, they hadn't yet been contacted by Europeans. So it was a 2-day journey. They traveled down, and as they reached the Old Man River, a little east of the mountains, they followed the course of the river up to the first high rock of the mountains and met the Tunaha chief, where they smoked a pipe together. And then they traveled a 1/4 mile west into the high rocks of the mountains and a 1/2 mile south, following the S curve of the Old Man River through this valley, and came to a place that the Piikani described as one of the places told of in their creation stories, the story of the playing ground. When the Creator was making the world, he stopped here and rested a while and taught all the different nations how to make peace by way of playing a certain game. And that game was a hoop and arrow game where one contestant from each nation would hold a dart or an arrow, and a person would throw a hoop along the ground, and the 2 players would chase after it and throw the arrow through the hoop. And he that passes the arrow betwixt the hoop is reckoned to have gamed. And in my studies of this game, I've generally found that to be, a very well-known game and also a very well-known gambling game. But here, it was played between Tunaha and Piikani.
Oh, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, hi, ya, yo, hi, yo, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, hi, yo, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, hi, yo, hey, yo. Hey, yo, hey, yo, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, ya, yo, hi, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, hey, yo, woo, woo.